Sam.
Is the thing on? Okay. Sorry. What was the thought process behind sticking with Kyle for all the snaps on Saturday and not having Kyler come in?
There really wasn't much. I thought Kyle started off great. That first quarter he was 9 for 9. He was moving the ball efficiently. A lot of the thought process going in this week versus Mississippi State was to eliminate substitutions because there's such a big front. I don't think their game was to play sideline to sideline, and we just didn't. We wanted to keep, to eliminate the substitutions and keep those guys out there as long as possible. So, you saw some, Wildcat deals with Christian Kirk, which was part of, not subbing. And, Kyle went out to wide receiver on those plays. And that was just to avoid substitutions for Mississippi State and just play as fast as we could.
Here on the right side, Olin.
Jake, how much of a factor was it? Let me see how I want to say this. Y'all moved the ball so well early in the game. Then Ricky gets disqualified. How much of a factor was maybe slowing down, not having Ricky in there, or do you think it would have, y'all would have had some of the issues anyway?
Right. No, we had 3 receivers out, with Speedy and Jeremy DeBoyo, and then with Ricky, and then with James White being out as well. It kind of we had some communication deals, and we had to try to eliminate part of our game plan, and we did slow the game down a bit, for that purpose because of just because of the injuries and the depth, and a lot of our packages were gone. That's why you saw a lot of Jordan Davis out there, and Caden Smith. I thought those two played great, and they're getting better each week, and just the focus that we had throughout the offseason and throughout these first 4 or 5 games, you got to see a lot of different personnel groups, and in case injuries happen, we were able to get into other sets.
Here in front, Brent.
How much have you seen Avery Genesee improve over the past year, really, during his red shirt, and could you evaluate his play through 5 games?
Yeah, I think Avery, I think he gets better each week again. Again, this is his first time starting in the SEC, and, he's going to go up with great competition. I've said it before, to go up against Myles Garrett week in, week out, that's naturally going to get you better. And, the kid's got a great demeanor. He great attitude. And that it's kind of contagious. He has fun. The kids like being around him, and you can see that he enjoys playing the game. So it's always I'm very pleased just to watch him just progress, and you can tell that his best ball's still ahead of him.
On the right side, Gabe, and then we'll go to Aubrey.
Jake, I'll broaden that out, just the O-line in general from game 1 to game 5. How have you seen it progress, gel together, those 5 guys up front?
Yeah, again, they keep getting better each week. That's something that we talk about with not just the O-line, but everybody. We got to continue to improve, and I think the best teams in the country are the ones that improve each week. And, from an O-line standpoint, you look at the first game, which was a tough challenge with a different style of defense with Arizona State, and, there's a lot of thought process and thinking that goes on with the offensive line, but just to see them progress, we had some protection issues, early in the season, but you can see that they've been getting better at that, and they've been handling that, and I think they're starting to play more cohesive as a unit, and that's always good, especially heading into a bye week.
Aubrey, and then we'll go to Daryl in the back.
Kevin was talking about self-scouting during this week, and you've only been an OC for a couple seasons now. The first time you got to go through this process of scouting your own play calls, was there anything huge revelations or anything that you said, wow, I didn't realize I was doing that? And of course, I know you're not going to go into specifics, but did you make any major changes off of that, or is it mostly just minor things?
It's mostly minor things. In certain situations, maybe, or certain sets, you might be a little more run or more pass than usual. Just the things to keep in mind that you might want to sprinkle in a tendency breaker here and there. But a lot of it has to deal with who's playing effectively, and right now you can tell that Josh Reynolds and Christian Kirk are getting a lot of touches along with Trey Carson. You just gotta I look from the self-scout on who's getting the touches in the certain situations, and you're going to see teams that are going to start, following those guys around and, putting an emphasis on stopping those. So, you've got to get creative with other ways of get other guys actively involved with the game plan. But the self-scout it's a huge thing that we do, and it's not saying that we're going to change everything, just based off the self-scout. But you can find some things here and there that you need to put an emphasis on and break those tendencies.
Go to the back with Daryl.
Coach, we talk a lot about your red zone scoring and touchdowns over field goals. You had a couple of guys that probably should have caught touchdown passes that didn't. What do you tell them to kind of massage their ego a little bit? Because you can't really just jump on them. But
Right.
obviously, I mean, like Christian Kirk, the guy has had all kinds of success, and then, you don't want him to beat himself up too much over missing a potential touchdown catch.
Yeah, and the kids are hard on themselves to begin with. We did have a few drops. That's just not the only mistakes that happened in the red zone area. We have a lot of mental busts and some assignment issues as well. But you set the standard and you talk about it each week about how we need to find a way to get in the end zone more efficiently, and that's something that they do take pride in. They're going to make mistakes. The thing that I like about where this team's at is there's not much finger pointing going on like there was last year at times. And I think they get off on the sidelines and, they don't point the finger. They find solutions and they work together, and, they understand that, hey, they may have dropped a touchdown pass, but we got to get back out there and take advantage of it. And, the next time that opportunity comes, we're going to make that catch.
We'll go to Sam and then KO.
What have you thought between the play of Stuckey and Sutherland? Notice they've both obviously been getting time this year. How do you feel like that continues to go?
I think you're going to see both of them continue to play and rotate. Just to have the opportunity for both of them to rotate play, it's also going to increase your depth because, they're both playing pretty even right now. And, at least that allows you to have an extra interior lineman that will be able to come in and help for depth issues.
And following up on Kirk, how do you feel like he handled the Wildcat, and how did you guys, decide to start utilizing that?
It was a very similar package to what we did with Kyler in the Arkansas game. It's just we didn't want to substitute and allow them to get fresh bodies on the field. So it was something that, it was the first time Christian's done that, and, he can definitely improve. It's the same thing with Kyler. He can improve as well. It's just a different deal back there, being a running back, and they've never done it before. And, Christian, there was a couple times where he outran his blocking, and he was a little excited and then juiced up to get the ball and take off, which I understand. I would be the same way if you're going up against a defense of that size and that physical of a defense. But I think he's going to continue to improve, and I think you're going to see that package improve as well because obviously he's pretty dynamic with the ball in his hands.
Last row on the left. KO.
Coach, with the benefit of having now the 2 weeks, what's maybe the one or two things that you'd really like to refine the most, that you've now had 5 weeks to look at, and this is really where I want to spend some time and focus?
A lot is to get healthy. You can tell that, Christian is beat up a bit, and, it'll be good to get Speedy back healthy and take some of the beating off of that offensive line too, because, they play every single snap. That's the main emphasis, but, it's also a good time to clean up just anything that we see that needs to be cleaned up, and it goes back to the self-scout deal. It's a good opportunity to evaluate yourself and where you're at as a unit, and just try to make those corrections and get healthy and move forward.
Right here on the right side, Aubrey.
This is kind of going back to the same point, but a more specific question. When y'all are talking about self-scouting and looking at the film and that kind of stuff, are you looking at your own offense, or are you looking at the A&M defense, and do y'all, kind of go into this week as if you were going to play against each other when you're self-scouting?
In a way, we use a lot of the defensive templates on how they break down their opponents, and we just run the stats with us and just to see if there's anything, just glaring out there. we're going to do what we do, but there could be some certain situations that we need to fix, and it may not change just based off of game on the line, who's going to be the guy that's going to touch the ball.
And how much is having a guy like Chavis, who's obviously seen a lot of different kinds of offenses and has run the same defense for an awful long time, how much does that help y'all this week?
Oh, it helps out a lot. Coach Chavis came in my office the other day and gave an idea based off of the stuff that he saw that we did in the game, and it's always good to have a guy that is watching and thinking it from a defensive perspective, saying, hey, if we came back to this certain look and this certain set, that could definitely hurt us. And he comes back and he gives us those ideas. So we talk back and forth with each other about things that we see and how we would attack each other. But again, it's a great week to just sit back and just evaluate each other.
On the back, Dusty.
Coach, in red zone short yardage situations, do you ever consider going under center with your quarterback? And why is it that you don't see a lot of shotgun teams make that transition under center for short yardage?
It goes down to just exchange problems. You're putting a quarterback and a center in a situation that you don't practice that often. And, when you're in a certain situation, game on the line, if it's third and short, if it's in the goal line, it just if there's an exchange problem, then you kind of look back at yourself as coaches that you didn't practice it as much as you normally have. But that's a reason why you see a lot of guys just stay in shotgun. You see a lot of teams in the victory formation do it in shotgun because a lot of teams that are predominantly in the shotgun formation, they don't go under center very often.
All right.
No, we practice it. We do, but sometimes when the game's on the line and you got a 330-pound nose guard head up on Mike Matthews, sometimes the easiest thing is to get in shotgun and snap it to him so we get a clean exchange.
All right. Thanks, Coach.